Mephibosheth is a biblical figure who represents resilience, overcoming adversity, and the pursuit of dignity in the face of difficult circumstances. His name, which means the one who is broken or the one seeking recovery, symbolizes a life marked by tragedy, but also by moments of grace and redemption. Mephibosheth was the son of Jonathan, King David's best friend, and grandson of Saul, the first king of Israel. His story begins with a tragic event that would shape his destiny. When Saul and Jonathan were killed in the Battle of Gilboa, Mephibosheth, then just a child of 5 years old, received the news of his father and grandfather's deaths. His nurse, fearing for the boy's life due to the political instability following the fall of Saul's dynasty, fled with him. During the escape, she stumbled and Mephibosheth fell, resulting in an injury that left him crippled for the rest of his life. This fall not only hurt his body, but also symbolized the downfall of Saul's house and the adversities Mephibosheth would face. After this tragedy, Mephibosheth was taken to Lodabar, an isolated city that symbolized rejection and abandonment. He grew up far from the power and influence of his royal family, living in poverty and helplessness. Lodabar was a desolate place, and Mephibosheth's life seemed defined by his physical disability and lack of hope. However, even in such difficult circumstances, Mephibosheth's story was about to change. Years later, after securing his reign, King David remembered his friendship with Jonathan and sought out any remaining members of Saul's family to show kindness to. He asked, "Is there anyone still left of the house of Saul to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" A servant named Ziba informed David about Mephibosheth, who was living in Lodabar. David, demonstrating his generous character, sent for Mephibosheth and brought him to his presence. Mephibosheth's first reaction when summoned before the king was fear and insecurity. He knew that, as a member of Saul's family, he could be seen as a threat to David's throne. When he arrived at the palace, he bowed before David, calling himself your servant. However, David did not come with hostile intentions. Instead, he declared, "Don't be afraid, for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table." This offer marked a turning point in Mephibosheth's life. David's generosity was an act of grace that defied Mephibosheth's expectations, and indeed the expectations of society. Mephibosheth, who had been living in a place of rejection and despair, was now invited to live in the palace, enjoying the blessings of royalty. He was restored not only in terms of material possessions, but also in dignity and honor. David's presence in Mephibosheth's life not only changed his social status, but also brought new purpose and hope to his existence. The relationship between David and Mephibosheth also bears witness to the power of friendship and loyalty. David's kindness to Mephibosheth can be seen as a reflection of Jonathan's commitment to his friend. By restoring Mephibosheth, David honored Jonathan's memory, showing that true love and loyalty transcend even death. This story resonates deeply, showing that even in the midst of darkness, there is room for the light of hope and renewal. Mephibosheth became part of the royal family of Israel, living in Jerusalem and sharing the king's table. His life, once marked by pain and abandonment, was now filled with meaning. Not only did he receive the restitution of his family's lands, but he also gained a place of honor in the palace. This transformation is a powerful reminder that grace can enter our lives in unexpected ways. Despite his new position, Mephibosheth continued to face challenges. The internal struggle with his identity and the shadow of his physical condition weighed heavily on him. Even living in the palace, he was constantly reminded of his limitations. Nevertheless, he became a symbol of perseverance, showing that true strength comes from within, regardless of external circumstances. Mephibosheth was not just a crippled man. He was a survivor who had overcome significant challenges. Over time, new challenges arose for Mephibosheth. During Absalom's revolt, one of David's sons, Ziba, Mephibosheth's servant, saw an opportunity and approached David. He made a deceptive statement, claiming that Mephibosheth had turned against the king, taking advantage of the situation to benefit himself. David, unaware of the truth, believed Ziba and gave him all of Mephibosheth's lands. When Mephibosheth had the chance to explain his position to David, he was distressed, but he still acknowledged the love and kindness David had shown him. Mephibosheth's return to the palace wasn't just about reclaiming land or status, but about the restoration of truth and justice. He presented himself before David and, upon seeing the king, said, "My lord, the king, I am your servant." This declaration was not merely a formality. It was a statement of loyalty and gratitude. Even amid betrayal and deceit, Mephibosheth remained faithful to David. He did not seek revenge or harbor resentment, but sought reconciliation and truth. The reunion between David and Mephibosheth illustrates the power of forgiveness and restoration. Mephibosheth, who had been unjustly treated, was met with dignity and respect by David. The restoration of his lands and his place beside the king not only reaffirmed his position, but also testified to David's character as a leader. David was not just a king. He was a loyal friend who sought the well-being of those under his protection. Mephibosheth's life became a rich narrative of lessons in overcoming adversity and redemption. He wasn't just a victim of his circumstances, but a testimony to the goodness that can be found even in the darkest situations. His story teaches us about the importance of loyalty, friendship, and grace, and reminds us that each of us has inherent value, regardless of our limitations or challenges. Ultimately, Mephibosheth represents all of us on our personal journeys. He is a symbol of hope in difficult times, showing that even when life seems to fall apart, there is always the possibility of restoration and a new beginning. His story continues to resonate, inspiring generations to seek grace and goodness in their own lives and in the lives of others. As we reflect on Mephibosheth's life, we are reminded of the importance of empathy and compassion. Just as David saw beyond Mephibosheth's limitations and welcomed him as a member of the royal family, we are called to look beyond appearances and treat everyone with dignity and respect. Mephibosheth not only found a new home and identity, but he also became a living example that true greatness lies in how we treat others, especially the most vulnerable among us. The story of Mephibosheth is a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity, love, and redemption. It teaches us that no matter how deep our wounds or how difficult our journey, there is always a path back to dignity and hope. Mephibosheth, with his life marked by challenges, invites us to seek light amid darkness and to cherish the relationships we build along the way. Kindness and grace are powerful, and his story reminds us that each of us, in our own unique way, can be a force for change and a bearer of hope. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue exploring the lesser-known stories of the Bible, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any new content, and leave your comment below, telling us which story you'd like to see in the next videos. Your participation is super important for us to keep bringing this kind of content. See you in the next video.